Alright YouTube, I'm here with Mark and I've got a few questions from you guys, and the first one is from Brandy Dekaiser, and he asks, how will RuneScape look in 5 years time?
So you can see all of the graphical updates that we're doing, and you know, something like Branches of Darkmire, you know, the new Darkmire expansion that we've done recently, that kind of quality is the kind of quality that we want to have throughout the game, really. So it'll be all over the place. Lots more upgrades, really. We you know, every time we make a big leap with our graphical engine, it means that the rest of the game looks out of date. So we have to go back and upgrade everything that we've done before. There's some, if you look on the RuneFest site, there's actually a series of shots of demons. It shows you a demon from Classic, and then when we converted to RS2, when we did our big graphical update about 3 years ago, and what we've done to them today, and you can really see the difference in quality. So if you can imagine that same leap again in 5 years' time, that's roughly where we'll be. So it's, you know, it's going to look amazing. That's the best thing I can say. Go to Darkmire, have a look at the quality there, and that's the kind of quality that we're going to have throughout the game.
Great, thank you. Now the next question is from Beef Jerky and Bursting Soul. They asked, why hasn't there been much emphasis on getting new monsters, potions, herbs, ores, etc., supplies in general mainly? And they'd rather see like a new monster or a new potion, a new herb, things like that.
And we've added quite a lot of things, actually, I think, over, like, recently. We did the extreme potions, for example. That was quite a big update, you know, very different from what we've done before, because you couldn't trade the potions afterwards. We're actually looking at rebalancing a lot of our skills at the moment, so we're a little apprehensive to be adding any major collection of new ores or new items before we've rebalanced those skills. We're looking right now to rebalance the way that mining works, for example, just to start with, and then we'll see what we can introduce in the future. I've got my talk later on, my 2012 talk. I'm going to talk a little bit about the ideas we've got for high-level equipment and the way that people will be generating those kind of things to bring into the game. So, you know, if your man here's got a camera there, then maybe you YouTube watchers will be able to see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we'll be there, definitely. Now the next question is from RS Dr. Powders, and he asks, are there any plans to start IP banning rule breakers?
I'm not an expert on the rules, I'll be honest with you. I tend to focus on games design. We used to, all of us have opinions on the way that rules should be done. It is something that we've considered in the past, and it is something we have the technology to do. But of course, you know, at the end of the day, most YouTube, most internet users these days are fully aware of how to use proxy IPs and things like that. So I don't know how effective it would be. Obviously, one of the things you've got to avoid is, if you suddenly IP ban like a school or a library, that's not one person, that's like hundreds of people that could be using that IP address, and I'm not going to make all of those people suffer just because of one person. So, although it sounds like a good idea, there are pros and cons to both approaches. I'm not going to say either way whether I think it's a good idea or not. I'll leave that to my community people.
Great, yeah, thanks. That sounds like a really good answer. Now, Latvia N14 has sent in a question and asked if there are any plans to make 2004-2007 RS servers just like there are RS Classic servers.
No.
Alright, that's a very short and straightforward answer.
Yes, it is.
Alright, we're not going to get more out of him, guys. Alright, the next question from the Bip Pop Bunny. Bip Pop Bunny.
That's a pretty cool name.
It is, isn't it? He's going to be really honored to see this.
Yeah, so cool name, Bip Pop Bunny.
He asked, 1 to 2 years ago, World 166 and World 167 were Irish worlds. They're now gone, and he wonders, well, he sort of says that the Irish community has been split up, and he wonders if you guys have got any plans to. Oh, that's a bad question. I'll cut this one out. I don't really get what he's asking.
I think he must be asking if we've got any plans to bring them back, or maybe more plans to support the Irish community. See, I mean, the answer to that really is, you've got, you know, there are all sorts of communities out there. We've got big groups of players all over the world. We can't necessarily provide like a special world for all of those players. So we tend to provide them for the biggest communities, really. So, you know, if there are enough Irish people out there who want to see an Irish world, then get on the forums, you know, send us some suggestions and tell us about it. Because it's all based on, you know, what you guys tell us. So if we believe that there's a need for them, then we'll have them.
Thank you. Here's another question from evil Mr. Crowley, and he asked, Jagex, what are your plans for the free game part of RuneScape in the future? And after all, the free game is where everyone starts.
I think what people forget is that the free game's got over 10,000 hours of gameplay. Now that is a lot of playtime for a completely free game. I will continue to upgrade the graphics, I'll continue to upgrade the gameplay, I'll rebalance the skills, but it's very unlikely that we'll add a significant amount of new content to the free game. Obviously, we want people to start in the free game and we're happy for that, but ultimately we want them to be a member, you know, we want them to get involved with the really cool content that we're releasing. And I'll continue to release our main big updates on the members world. And I appreciate there are a lot of people out there who've done everything that there is to do in the free game. What I'd say to you is become a member and you know, play some of the cool stuff.
I think that's a very good answer. Now, I've got another question here. It's actually to Matt K, but I haven't seen him around.
I haven't seen him around either, actually. I might be able to answer for him.
Well, this guy asked him if he misses War of Legends. Do you know that?
Yeah, War of Legends is one of our other products. I'm not personally into that kind of game very much. I tried them, you know, I mean obviously as a lead designer I have to be aware of sort of competitor products, so I've played a lot of the other kind of Travian and Ebony, things like that, just to see what they're all about. War of Legends is a very good version of that, actually. I think it's probably one of my favourites among that type of game, but it's still, I think it's still going, isn't it? People are still playing it.
I think so as well, yeah. Right, I've got a question here from Bursting Soul, and he asks if... Another cool name, yeah. He asks if there will be revamp on some skills that really need it, just like you did for smithing.
Yes, as I said earlier in the interview, we're working on rebalancing mining at the moment. So we're really looking at reworking a lot of that content. I mean, the smithing thing that we did, all that was a training alternative. It wasn't a new way of, you know, there weren't new ores, there weren't new weapons, it's just a different way to gain XP. But we're really looking at putting that kind of mini-game support in there for a lot of skills, just so they're a sort of gameplay alternatives to grinding, basically, because I think it's important to do that. Of course, these things take a long time. Like I say, we're going to be focusing on mining to start with, see how that goes, use it as a bit of a test to see how the community responds to it. Ultimately, smithing after that as well, we're really trying to move rune equipment because it doesn't really make a lot of sense that you need to be level 90 plus smith in order to make rune. That's the kind of thing we've got to start with, really. I actually did a rebalance of wood cutting a couple of years ago when we introduced the sawmill and the ivy.
Ivy was really good. I like that.
Yeah, so that is that went very well. But wood cutting was in a pretty good shape anyway. It's weird because with some skills, I mean, I'm sure you all know this, so I'm not going to be like revealing anything special by saying this. Something like wood cutting, there were a lot of people that realised if they were only interested in XP, the best thing for them to do is just chop willows and carry on chopping willows and do nothing but chop willows. Now, that's not good games design for me. I want you to move, I want you to go and do maples, I want you to do all the other cool woodcutting stuff.
More variation.
Exactly. I don't want you to stick in one area for the whole time. So it's really important that we rebalance these things to encourage people to move around. Right now, I've got a lot of people that will just sit and mine iron ore, and that's no good for me at all.
Excellent, thank you. Now, we have 2 questions left here. So my question, well actually 3, my question is, will you guys spend time on getting Dutch servers?
Dutch servers?
The language servers.
Oh, you mean translate into Dutch? Yes. So it's a really good question. Out of all of our...
because I'd love to see that.
So the Dutch have the best understanding of English.
We know, thank you.
Out of all of our foreign players that aren't naturally where English isn't their first language, the Dutch tend to be the best at English.
I think all my Dutch subscribers are really honoured now.
So what I would say is, and this is a weird thing, you're the guys that least need it because you know English so well. You don't need a Dutch server. I know it would be nice to have and everything like that, but you don't need it to be translated into Dutch because you guys know English so well, you know, and very similar with some of our other communities. So, weirdly enough, I think, although I'd really like to support the Dutch community, and there are a lot of Dutch PKers out there, and I know...
We need more player support.
Well, I'm sure that could happen. Like I say, I'm a games designer. I'm not really involved in the community management side of things, although, you know, I have my friends chat and things like that. Again, you know, same answer about the Irish players, really. You know, if we have enough people out there who are saying, we need this support, then we'll do something about it. So get on those forums and let us know.
Great, thanks. Right, now one more question from one of my subscribers. Acno112 is asking, will we get a new skill on RuneScape?
So, tough question. Historically, the last few skills that we've launched have been massive. You look at something like Dungeoneering, biggest sort of gameplay update we've ever done, although Clan Citadels was sort of larger in terms of the graphics that we spent on the graphics that we invested in the project. Dungeoneering was massive. Now, I'm not sure we could always produce skills to that size. If it were, like, in my mind, I've got room for another resource gathering and a finishing skill. So rather than just one skill that would be like a new kind of idea, I think it would be more likely that I would do a skill which was about resource gathering, and another skill to support it, which was finishing that item. If you look at something, like the
like mining and smithing, yes.
Yeah, just like mining and smithing. A lot of people said, you know, something like summoning, you could have split into two skills. There could have been charm gathering as a skill, and then actually using the pouches would be another skill. So you sort of gain more experience points for summoning them and using them, because at the moment when you train with a summoning creature, it gives you the XP and the skill that you know. So if you're, what have I been using recently, like a granite lobster or something like that, he's going to help you get fishing XP, but he's not going to help you get summoning XP. So I don't know, maybe if I had my time again, maybe I would have done summoning as two different skills. I don't know. Dungeoneering is one skill. I know a lot of people call it a mini game, and you can call it that if you like. I don't mind.
I really enjoy Dungeoneering.
Yeah, Dungeoneering is my favourite piece of content in the game. I waited for a long time before we could do Dungeoneering, and really it was just one meeting where Andrew said, I really want to put this in the game, and I was like, I really want to put this in the game.
Great decision.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. It's interesting, a lot of new players really like Dungeoneering and it's their favourite bit of content. A lot of older players who've played the game for a long time don't necessarily see a lot of value to it, but I think they're getting there now. And I really like, you know, I want to be able to support small adventuring groups. You know, I'm a role player at heart, I'm a storyteller, I'm all about those traditional adventuring parties where you got your fighter and your mage and all that kind of stuff. And I'm really glad that we put Dungeoneering in the game. I'll be talking about the finale of Dungeoneering. I'll be talking about Floor 61 in my Insider session later.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Thank you very much for your time. I've got one more last question from my friend. This is PVM Lexia. He is standing next to me. He's got a question for Mod Mark. Hold on, I'm just changing the camera here for you guys. All right, here we go. What's your question?
Hi guys, I'm PVM Lexi. My question to Mod Mark is, do you play RuneScape apart from when you log in as a JMod?
Yeah, a lot. I have about 4 accounts in total that I use. My main is pretty cool. I'm not going to give you his levels or anything like that, but I've got a... Get in the shot. I've got a pure mage that I use to PK with. I've got a tank that I use to PK with. But my favourite account is still my account that I have left on RuneScape Classic, which still has a party hat.
Wow, that's phenomenal. Friends, Plox?
You know, I have to be very careful about, you know, I don't like people knowing really who my tube accounts are because I like to play RuneScape and not get loads of questions about rebalancing, mining or whatever. Because I like to play it and have fun, really. So, but you know, the quest is what I'm all about, really. I love the quests. That's what I play the game for. I used to be an awesome PKer back in Classic, but I'm not so good anymore. So, So if you meet me in the wildy, you'll probably pwn me.
Okay. Thank you very much.
No worries.
Thank you.